And now to get to be in the whole Marvel world is a wild experience. This is going to be a huge movie. When I say a huge movie, it's like an understatement. I don't have a word big enough. I'm not good enough with words to like explain how big this movie is going to be. It's going to blow people's minds.
We're about to see a ton of universes come together in Avengers Doomsday. And no, I'm not talking about incursions, although yes, those will play a huge role in Doomsday and Secret Wars. But we're specifically talking about seeing a lot of characters from a lot of different universes. We got glimpses of these in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, the post-credit scene for the Marvels, Deadpool and Wolverine, and Spider-Man No Way Home, and it was pretty epic. But besides that, the Multiverse saga should have dove a little bit more into it. But we are where we are, and that's what Marvel Studios is about to do. And Marvel Studios has revealed that the original Fox X-Men are going to be in Avengers Doomsday. So in this video, we're going to go over what other universes we could see in Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars interact with the characters from our universe, Earth 616. And I think it's a lot because, as Channing Tatum said, this movie is supposedly going to blow our minds. So as I mentioned, if you didn't know, our main sacred timeline universe is Earth 616. Then we have the Earth 828 universe, which is the Earth and the universe that the Fantastic Four are from. And of course, we already know Marvel has confirmed they'll come in contact with the heroes of the 616 universe. Then we have the 10005 universe. This is the universe that Deadpool and Wolverine come from. Well, actually the universe that Deadpool comes from and Wolverine is now in. And we assume that the other X-Men that Marvel has confirmed to be in the movie are coming from that universe as well. Deadpool and Wolverine talked plenty about how Wolverine, or Logan, was from Deadpool's universe, so the events that took place in the X-Men films are probably in the 10,005 universe. It is possible that the X-Men come from a different universe than Deadpool does, but they probably come from that universe, which is also probably the same universe from the Marvel's post-credit scene. And since it's Kelsey Grammer playing Beast again, much like he did before, again, it's all probably the 10005 universe. Then we have the 838 universe. Not to be confused with the 828 universe where the Fantastic Four are from, but this is the universe from Multiverse of Madness where the Illuminati are, and I will remind you that there was an empty Illuminati chair there. And still to this day, we don't know who that extra Illuminati chair was for. Some people say it was for Doctor Strange, but Mordo took his place, so therefore he would take his chair. We heard before that Marvel's plans were eventually to bring this around and have 838 actually interact with 616. And if that is the case, we might finally figure out who that seat belonged to. I had a theory once upon a time that it actually belonged to Doctor Doom, who could be a variant of Tony Stark in that universe, and instead of having Ultron bots, they could be turned into Doom bots. They'd have to kind of retcon it a little bit since the subtitles for the movie did say Ultron bots, but hey, maybe this Tony Stark variant, Victor, kind of turns into an evil version of Iron Man or Doctor Doom after the Scarlet Witch completely annihilated the Illuminati and probably caused an incursion to happen. That's just a theory. We'll have to wait and see. Now, the next two universes will be Earth 96283, which is Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man's universe, and then Earth 1200703. Which is the universe that, you guessed it, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man comes from. Since they both were in Spider-Man No Way Home, them showing up in Avengers Doomsday and or Secret Wars is pretty much a given. And I really do want to see Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, and hopefully a Robert Downey Jr. Tony Stark Iron Man variant, because obviously it won't be the same one from before, from our universe, he died. But Robert Downey Jr. is returning, and I would be shocked if we didn't see him come back and also play an Iron Man variant. And I really want those big three there: Tobey Maguire, Hugh Jackman, and Robert Downey Jr. Then we have the Earth 121698 universe, and this is the universe that the original Fantastic Four come from, the one with Jessica Alba and Chris Evans. Now, Chris Evans already came back as the Human Torch in Deadpool and Wolverine. And he's coming back again in Avengers Doomsday, and that Steve Rogers is going to be the same Steve Rogers that we've been with the entire time throughout the entire MCU. Not a variant, but the same one. So this means we have the possibility to get two Chris Evanses on screen, him playing Steve Rogers and him playing the Human Torch, Johnny Storm. If there were ever a time to do it, it would be during these huge multiversal events. Now, I really hope that we cross over with Earth 688. because this is the one where Tom Hardy's Venom is from, and they've already really crossed over with the post-credit scene for Venom Let There Be Carnage and the post-credit scene for Spider-Man No Way Home. Literally a piece of that symbiote is in the MCU right now in the 616 universe, and we've recently heard a report from a reliable insider, Alex Perez, who said that the symbiote is indeed from another universe that's in ours, and that is pulling that universe towards us. So that would mean 688 is heading towards us. And I really want to see Tom Hardy's Venom with Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I don't think that comes in Spider-Man Brand New Day. I think we get it in Secret Wars, or at least I hope we do. Now, there's a possibility that we could see Earth 15866. This would be the Fan4Stick universe. And while most of us try not to acknowledge this movie, the actors were done pretty dirty by the script. Most of these actors have shown that they can act outside of this movie, so perhaps to kind of give them a little bit of redemption, kind of like what they did with Deadpool and Wolverine, with characters like Elektra, perhaps they could bring them into the MCU, give them a little moment, and let them move on in peace. After all, we've heard that that's what Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige is kind of doing with the X-Men. They didn't get to be a part of the MCU because they were before the MCU. They didn't really get an ending, but now they will. They'll get both of those. Now, this one, I think a lot of people would really like to see this, and that would be Nicolas Cage as Ghost Rider. I'm not sure the actual number for this universe. I'm not sure if it's designated, but I think a lot of people would enjoy to see Nicolas Cage returning as Ghost Rider and going into the MCU. But let me know if you'd like to see him in the comments. Now, we've already kind of felt the essence of Earth 26320 because that's where Wesley Snipes' Blade is from, and Ryan Reynolds is a part of that universe as well in Blade Trinity. So is Jessica Biel. And Wesley Snipes has already returned, so it would make sense to see him again since he was saved, at least as far as we know, since Gambit and X-23 were saved. We can assume Elektra and Wesley Snipes' Blade were saved as well, which would mean we could see Earth 701306, the one where Ben Affleck's Daredevil and Elektra are from. And I really wouldn't be surprised if Ben Affleck came back as Daredevil, even if just for a quick cameo. Now, these next universes are a little tricky. We're going to be talking about Earth 1610, Earth 42, and Earth 65. These are all from the Into the Spider-Verse movies. Earth 1610 is where Miles Morales is from, Earth 65 is where Spider-Gwen is from, and Earth 42 is where Miles Morales as the Prowler is from, where we saw at the end of Across the Spider-Verse. Sony and Marvel have been playing nicely with each other, and the massive success that Into the Spider-Verse has had probably means that the studios want to elevate that success by having them cross over into the MCU. Plus, we've heard reports that some animated characters are going to appear in animated form in the MCU, which would be really interesting to see, but the multiverse does include those type of universes. So maybe we'll get them in animated form, maybe we'll get them in live action form. Either way, I hope these characters do appear, and that also goes for the Earth 82111 universe. This is the universe from the animated series What If, where Peggy Carter becomes Captain Carter. And at the end of What If Season 3, she kind of ascended into kind of a multiversal Captain Carter. So there's definitely precedent for her to show up. Plus, it's been said Haley Atwell is returning, as Chris Evans is returning as Captain America Steve Rogers as well, and they're supposed to be in scenes together. Doom and Loki are said to go back to that time where he went back in time and stayed with Peggy at the end of Avengers Endgame, and both talked to him separately. So it looks like Peggy Carter will be in it, but will she be Captain Carter? We'll have to wait and see. I also should mention Earth 40083. Eric Bana's Hulk. I wouldn't be that surprised if he showed up. I'd be a little bit more surprised if Edward Norton showed up, since technically his Hulk is the same as Mark Ruffalo's. But it could be from a universe where he continued to play the Hulk in the MCU. Literally anything is possible. And I think it's possible for any characters who have been portrayed on film or on any screen before to appear in the MCU, meaning the old Punishers, the old Fantastic Four movie that got made but never saw the light of day, the PlayStation, Spider-Man, and Miles Morales. I think everything is possible, but the universes that we went over in this video, I think are the main ones that they're going to pull from. At least I certainly hope so. But what do you think? Let us know your thoughts about this in the comments down below. Would you be excited if some of these characters showed up or not? And of course, on top of this, there are going to be variants of a lot of different characters played by some pretty big actors, I'm sure. So to stay in the know, be sure to like this video and subscribe to stay up to date with the recent news. You can also find us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Snapchat. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.